Chapter 5. Imagine your reality. From your first arrival in this world, you are awakened to what is to be your reality, only to find out that you are a prisoner in this strange new world, a world that displays a vast variety of beauty, opportunity, fame, wealth, etc., which is nothing but an elaborate hoax. Taking your first steps, you are not aware that you are being observed, and things are not as they seem or perceive to be. Contact with other humans yields little information. Questions will be answered, but even more will arise, providing the opportunity to analyze and not merely observe. By taking that first step outside of the illusion within your mind, that is perceived to be a reality, now becomes surreal. Visions become magnified and sounds become loud, a feast for the eyes and ears. Your life is like looking through the windows of the world, but through the consciousness of your mind. Let us explore the connection between consciousness, creativity, and the brain. If your consciousness level is inadequate, when you read a book, you will have less than an adequate understanding. Therefore, when you observe the world around you, your awareness is substandard. But if you expand your mind and consciousness, when you read a book, you will have more understanding. When you observe the behavior of people and the world, you will naturally have more awareness. Inside each and every one of us, there's a tremendous amount of pure, vibrant consciousness, and its foundation is at the epicenter of your mind, at the basis of thought, and the source of all matter. The microscopic particles of an atom are brought to vibration by the energy force within where all matter originates and exists. Therefore, the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind must reasonably be the initiator of this force. The matrix of all matter is the mind. The solidity of the world appears to be totally and undeniably a stable object that you can see and touch. It is matter. Our bodies are also certainly solid. Modern physics and esteemed theoretical physicists such as Albert Einstein have proven that this state of solidity is merely a mirage. All physical matter, everything we see and feel around us, takes its form from the result of a frequency. Scientifically speaking, if you amplify the frequency, the structure of the matter will indisputably change. The autonomous system of a hologram is the perfect example of this. Everything within a hologram is a representation of it, and if you examine every element, you will see that it is a tinier adaptation of the whole. In a hologram, the pattern in its entirety is whole and complete, so if any minuscule portion of this whole is removed and examined closely, we will see the entire pattern repeatedly continues on. If one slight aspect anywhere in the pattern were to change on any one hologram, that change would be reflected throughout the entire structure. We technically can't see where just one particle exists because it is always a reflection of all particles within the hologram. Reality is so connected that when we observe one small fragment, we see things about other pieces of the entire whole that is contained in that part, and consequently, we can't divide reality up because it is as if we're cutting up a hologram. The study of quantum physics reveals what ancient scientists always knew: matter does not exist. The philosopher Aristotle introduced to the world the concept of substance, and from that theory came science's conception of matter. In reality, the true substance of the universe is consciousness. In fact, if the substance of the universe is consciousness, behavior then becomes most essential. People who believe that matter is the substance of the universe, however, create a fear/greed dichotomy evidenced by the obvious attempts of modern society desperately accumulating as many riches and material possessions as humanly possible. The realm of fear is a very slow, dense, vibrational state of being. The dark entities of our influenced and manipulated modern society have globally structured this to make us fear, to cause stress, to have us worry about our future, to feel guilty about yesterday, and to forget about now. This brings us into a slow, vibrating, dense state the more we express fear. We should be very careful in what we believe about the future. If reality is holographic, the more you attach yourself to a belief system, the more you create it by believing it. The great clairvoyant Edgar Cayce explained that reality is built out of thought, and our every thought begins to create reality, much like a spider spinning a web, and that web builds into an architectural masterpiece. The key to illusion of the reality that we think is real is information. People may ask the golden question, what is the matrix? The matrix is information, and information creates fractals. Mathematically speaking, as law and information increases, so does the number of fractals it creates, as was demonstrated by renowned mathematician Theodore Gordon. Fractals are never-ending patterns that are self-similar across different scales, portraying the concept of worlds within worlds. Because of their infinitely complex and unpredictable functions, fractals can make things become more and more unpredictable. Exploring the natural phenomenon of fractals, chaos theory, and the elements of it in relation to society, you will find the connection with the philosophy of order out of chaos that many world leaders uphold. I do concur that there is some truth to that concept because when a system becomes highly destabilized, there will be random shifts that suddenly force it to self-organize into higher complexity. Quote by former Vice President and Nobel laureate Al Gore. I find the ideas in the fractals, both as a body of knowledge and as a metaphor, an incredibly important way of looking at the world. End quote. Everything in the universe is composed of subatomic particles that whirl around vast empty spaces at lightning speeds. These atoms, however, aren't material objects. They are fluctuations of energy and information. Science now reveals that you can remarkably change atoms when you can change the space or field that the particle is in. Since we're made of atoms, when we have feelings and emotions in our hearts, this changes the energy field that connects all these particles of information, which everything is composed of, thereby altering our physical reality. Reality behaves at the subatomic level in harmony with the expectation of the observer, or the measure of the scientist exposing that we are the designers of our own reality. Once the reality we live in is established, the nature of what we as humans are, which is consciousness, and the nature that the physical body is, which is a biological computer, then you will see the way the world is precisely structured. You will be able to identify how the world functions, the universe works, and why people behave the way they do. Suddenly, this brings into crystal clarity why the world is organized as such. People look through their eyes every day and may think this is their world, but it truly isn't. It's a tiny, minuscule frequency range within an infinite energy field of unlimited frequency ranges and very comparable to a holographic television show. The act of consciousness is the very essence that actually creates the building blocks the universe is made of. The universe could not exist without us because it's the act of us observing the world around us that is creating and allowing us to create as we go along in a participatory universe. We may never discover the boundaries of our universe as we are searching to define what this universe looks like. We may never find the smallest particle in the quantum world to see what the stuff is that we are made of, because everywhere that we look, everywhere that consciousness explores with the expectation that something will be there, that exploration is the act that creates something for us to see. We are actually building this universe as we go. Consciousness is the programming of one, which is the universe. Consciousness comes through and animates from us. Therefore, we are consciousness conductors. That is what we do and who we are. We transmit reality. If we somehow switch our brains off and get pulled into the illusionary world of mainstream media, We must understand that we are being used because we create reality. If we are manipulated, controlled, and modulated in a particular way, then our creation of reality is no longer ours, but somebody else's. We are the designers and creators of this reality. If anyone decides to take control of reality, I'm talking quantum physics, taking control of things from the quantum molecular level up. One of the things we may actually face is a type of operating system that can be hacked using thoughts and words only. I like to think of the world being much like a ride at an amusement park. When you choose to get on it, you think it is real because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride may spin around or go up and down with chills and thrills. It may be brightly colored and very loud, and it is fun and exciting for a minute. Some people who have been on the ride for a long time may begin to question if it is just a ride or is it real, while others remember because they have been on this ride many times before and tell us, hey, don't worry and don't be afraid because it's just a ride. In some strange way, the universe then is like the ride of your life.